So we are live. So good afternoon, Ma, and welcome to this amazing section. Well, nice to have you here, Ma.
Thank you so much, Femi. It's really a pleasure to be here. I'm really, really excited to be part of this program. Thank you for all the wonderful things you're doing.
Awesome. So the I would like to go through the real relevance of why we need something like this. So I mean, having lived abroad, I've heard a lot of mental illness or mental health, physical health, and how people pay attention to how strong their body is, how well their heart is functioning, and how balanced their emotions are. But a lot of times people ignore financial health. But over time, in my own little research as a business person, I tend to find out that if you're not financially healthy, you really cannot be mentally healthy. I mean, how are you mentally stable when your rent is unpaid? How are you mentally stable when you have debt hanging on your neck and emails from collectors, text messages from people you owe money? So it's so difficult to be mentally stable when you're financially unstable. So the essence of this program here is to shed light to people that financial health is just as important as our own body health. So, Mark, we would like to do a little bit of introduction. We want to know you. We want to know exactly your where you came from, how you got to this place. So, we want to know a little bit about you, Mark.
Thank you very much. And I totally agree with what you said that apart from, being physically healthy, um, it's important to be financially healthy. I tell people that finance, gives people a lot of peace of mind, but it also takes planning. As we go to the medical doctor every year, we need to review our finances maybe every 6 months or at least every year to make sure it is also healthy. To your point, if debtors are following me all about, I can't have peace of mind. So very, very true. I totally agree with that. So my name is Adejisola Atiba. Because I live in Canada and Adejisola is an exotic name, people find it difficult to call it. I tell people, who don't look like me to call me Lady Abba. Lady Abba is my full name. Actually, it's Adejisola Boluwaduro Hana Atiba. But my preference is Adejisola. I'm from Ibadan. Oyo State. I schooled in Ibadan. My high school was St. Louis in Ibadan. And my story of going to university and everything. Anyway, I did my OND with Yaba College of Technology. I have my first degree at Olabisi Onabanjo University in banking and finance. And I moved to Canada over 16 years ago now. And I had another bachelor's in Canada. I went to another school here and I had my bachelor's in business administration with a minor in human resources. And then I did my executive MBA with McMaster University. And I have a lot of professional qualification because I work in the bank also here. I'm married. I have two young men in my life. My spouse's name is Tunde Dimeji, and my children Oluwatofumi and Orefolua. Thank you.
Awesome. 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 So for the purpose of our viewers, I mean, that's just like trying to take a cup of water from the ocean. I mean, Mrs. Adejisola's portfolio would take me like, I don't know, 3 years if I was to read in details on what she has done, what she's doing, and her qualifications in general. But I mean, I will just take a little out of the wealth of experiences and portfolio and explain to you so that you understand if she's talking about finances, if she's talking about how to manage your wealth, that you know for sure that you are listening to somebody who's been there, done there, and who is even still doing it for others. So, Mrs. Adejisola is a people manager with RBC, that is the Royal Bank of Canada. She's been working with RBC for 15 years now. I'm sure you know that that's a lot of experience in the banking sector. So let's say we have average of 5 clients day and 25 per week, you can times how many people she's worked with for the past 15 years. So it offers her a lot of experience to be able to explain to us how we can navigate our financial life so that we can be healthy financially, that can translate to our other parts of our lives. So Mrs. Adejisola is a coach, she's a mentor, she's a community leader, and she believes in paying way forward for everybody in the community, so, which is one of the reasons why she's here today. She's actually devoting her time for me, for everybody who will be watching this video at some point, and for our live viewers, that you need to be financially healthy to be mentally healthy. So, so Ma, we're going to ask some few questions, and I hope that it will be very beneficial for our audience. So, Ma, uh, what can you define as finances? I want us to go from the basics, because maybe when we use the word finance, some people still don't understand what is finance, or maybe you only have finance when you have a bank account, or you only have a finance when you have a business. So, what can you simplify to us as what finance is about?
Thank you very much. That's a very, very loaded question. But what I would say is finance is, you know, simply put, money you earn, money you spend. So, what does money you earn, money you spend mean? Income that comes to you comes from somewhere, and you spend money, which is a lot of people don't do it, budget, right? And at the end of the day, if what you're spending is more than what you're earning, there is a problem there. So I remember my father used to say that if you're earning, $100 and you can't save $1 out of it, if you earn $1 million, you won't be able to save. So again, it's like what we talked about originally, having a checkup on your health. Understanding finance and having a checkup on your finance is important. Finance is all encompassing. It talks about budgeting, it talks about your income, it talks about savings, it talks about having goals, because we want to do a lot of things. So anything that will make you to make a decision concerning money is finance.
Awesome,
Anything
awesome.
at
Awesome. That's very explainable and simple, because I've met a lot of people when I say, what is your financial state right now? They tend to think it's something bigger, and your financial state is just the level of what comes in to the level of what goes out.
Absolutely. And if I may just add to that, again, finance also means you being able to protect what you have. you know um, we have certain situations where husbands and wife, both of them are not working because of the family dynamics. Maybe you have young children and your wife is at home or your husband is at home. So whoever is earning that money needs to make sure the income is protected. Finance also means estate planning. you know
Awesome.
like I said,
Awesome.
it's all encompassing. We can talk and talk about what finance means, but you just gotta go from the myopic view that you have of finance and really go deeper to say, what is it that affects me? Anything that affects me that needs me to make a decision about money at all, it's finance. Anything at all.
Awesome. And right now, when we talk about finance, what comes in, what goes out, it's bigger overview. Before we really dive into how to manage the finance itself, that is managing what you have, what would you say, Ma, is the right attitude towards life, especially in terms of acquiring income, multiple stream, maybe for work, maybe for business? What would you be the right attitude that people should exhibit?
When it comes to managing your finance, like I said, you need to have a savings habit. It's important to have a savings habit. Why is it important? Because we don't know tomorrow. There's something called emergency funds. Do you have an emergency fund in case you don't have that job? Now, I'm learning a lot from Femi here. We know, well, A lot of us, based on where we come from, we're always saying, oh, go to school, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be an engineer, all those, wonderful, wonderful things. But you work and work and work. It will be nice to have an hustle on the side. I do a little bit something on the side. If you look at my face, you'll see that it's glowing. I do something. I don't really talk about it until people ask me, but I do a little bit on the side too, and I earn a little bit on it. But it's always good to have a residual income too. So if you can learn of something that you can do on the side that you love to do, that you're passionate about, absolutely. I know that a lot of people in our community in Canada, they make food, they make snacks. So and they're working corporate life. So that's something. So it's always good to have multiple income stream. But whatever you do, you have to also have a savings habit.
Awesome. I mean, I cannot agree less with that because you never know tomorrow. So savings is something that should never stop, no matter how much you have and no matter what level of life that you have. And even if you look deeper, your savings is quite synonymous to your investment because you really cannot invest what you don't have as addition. So if you earn $2,000, for example, it comes in and meets bills. So if there's an opportunity to be honest, it usually will be on your savings. So even when you see an opportunity, if you don't have the funds, you end up not participating in that opportunity at that time. So savings is very, very, very important. So for the purpose of this discussion, I would like to streamline this now down to the Canada environment because the truth is there might be some slight differences in Europe, in America, in Canada, or in Africa to the kind of opportunities and financial frameworks that we have. Like, for example, we have the credit system here in Canada, but in Nigeria, it's not so much available for everybody. So, right here in Canada, Ma, what would be your advice to newcomers like me who just entered Canada looking for a job that, okay, while looking for a job, you should have this in mind? Or while planning for the future, you should have it in mind. And also, there are people who have been here for 6 years, 10 years, but financially, they have been here today. So that means all they have is as good as somebody who entered Canada the first day. So, what would be your advice moving forward for this set of people, a newbie like me, and those in Canada who really have zero awareness of where their finance is?
Thank you very much. Again, that's a loaded question, but I'll try and streamline it into the fact that I remember when I came to Canada and I heard the phrase no credit means bad credit. I was dumbfounded because number one, I didn't even know what credit was. And I will also use this adage that we normally use back home where we say, when you get to Rome, you do like the Romans do. How can you do like the Romans do if you don't understand the culture of Romans? So what I would say first and foremost to new people coming into Canada is try and understand the culture. Try and understand the way things work. And one of the very important thing in Canada is credit. What is credit? In Canada, if you don't have credit, it is bad credit. If you have bad credit, it is bad credit. So, and credit is a privilege. The good news is when you come in as a permanent resident, things have changed. The banks will give you credit card. They'll give you credit card because they know you need to start building your credit. And when they give you that credit card, it is not your money. It is money borrowed to you. They expect you to use it and pay it. Where a lot of people make mistake is they use it and they don't pay it. Or they use it and they don't pay the minimum on time when it is supposed to be paid. When you use $1,000 and they say pay $15, that $15, let me break it down for you. It is $10 from what you have spent and $10 from what you have spent, and the $5 is actually interest. And that's why they say that if you pay the minimum only, just to pay $1,000 off, it may take you about 10 years. So you're just going to pay multiple $1,000s before you finish paying the 1,000 that you borrowed. So what will I tell newcomers? If you don't have that money, don't spend that credit. If you have the money, spend it, pay back. Spend it, pay back. When you do that, you're preparing yourself for opportunity to borrow bigger amounts of money from the bank.
Hmm. Awesome. I mean that is one information that I really need. And before we move on, I will ask a question which I've been asking myself and asking a lot of people without getting answers. Is that just like you said, when I came into Canada, I actually got three credit cards from three different banks here. Two was for 1,000 each, and one was for $2,000. So the question is, I've actually been spending it, and for me, I'm spending it and putting it back. I don't understand the framework. When is the right time to put this money back? Do I wait for the statement, or do I pay a day before the statement is sent? I don't know. I'm checking on Google and trying to find out when is the best time to pay this money that it maximizes my increment in credit level. So, what would be your advice for me in this point?
Awesome. We get to the markets in different ways. So, when you spend the credit card, now there are two ways of spending credit card. For instance, you go to the store and you swipe your card, or you take cash advance. So, if you go to the store and you swipe your card, which is the best and only way I would recommend, by the way, you can wait until the statement comes. Because when you spend it, you're given 21 days grace. Most credit card company will give you 21 days grace. So let's say you spend it today. By the time the statement comes, it will tell you this money needs to be paid so days. So for instance, let's say the credit card is supposed to be, today is April 4th. Let's say
Yeah.
it says you need to pay by April 10th. That is telling you that if you pay everything by April 10th, you will not pay any interest. If you pay everything, if you pay the minimum payment by April 10th, you're maintaining your credit. If you don't pay the minimum payment or pay everything by April 10th, you wait till April 11th, you are what we call delinquent. So you can pay on April 10th, you can pay the minute you spend it and put it back so that you don't forget and spend the money on something else. You can pay a day before. Just make sure whatever you do, you pay either the minimum or the full payment if you don't want to pay interest rates on or before April 10th. That way you're maintaining your credit. If you pay a day after, because you say, oh, I don't want to pay the minimum, I want to pay everything the next day, you are already delinquent. So pay the minimum before April 10th. If you have the balance the next day, pay the balance the next day. You will only pay interest for that one day. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean that offers me a kind of way forward. It's one question that I've been really battling with because I'm reading a lot and trying to get to the point where I'm making good decisions. So away from that, also that's one aspect of me with a new credit record. So for people who have actually not had this information over time and have misused the credit, and now the credit is almost dead, if it's the right word to use in the financial term, what would be your advice for them? Like your credit is spoiled, you've had collections, you've had series of debts unpaid. What is the starting point, and how can they go about it in bringing back their financial health?
Thank you so much. And again, have been financially healthy and being credit worthy is very, very important in Canada. So if you've had issues, we know life happens. Now, I always say that ignorance of law is no excuse. One of the things I know is that when you get a credit newly, whoever is giving it to you should explain certain things to you, like what your credit limit is, what your interest rate is, what the grace period is, what they talk about everything that you need to know. They should give you like an information sheet of what the credit is about. But if they didn't do that, I expect everybody to do that. But if they didn't do that and your credit has gone to to wherever it has gone to, or you've just spent the credit as if it was your money and you didn't pay back, and now you're in collection. I will tell you one thing: just because you've been in collection, you've given yourself a title in Canada when it comes to credit. You are now a high risk person. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter whether you want to get $100 or you want to get $500,000. You are now high risk, because every time you now go to the bank, they will take a second look at you because you've been there, you've been bad. Like I said, remember, credit in Canada is a privilege. It's not something you automatically get. It's something you earn. So you're not in collection. A lot of people that I've seen feels that it will go away. It doesn't go away. You need to work on it. So what you need to do is, most banks that you bank with, they now give you opportunity to be able to check your credit. When you check your credit through the bank, you're not borrowing money. You're just checking to see where your credit is. So it's not going to affect your credit numbers, by the way. It's not going to affect your points. So check your credit, isolate those collection items, look at them, understand them. There will always be numbers there. If there are no numbers there, call the credit bureau. We use TransUnion and Equifax in Canada. They will have their numbers. Tell them you want to know about who the collection agent is on whatever credit you have. Reach out to the collection agent, have a conversation with them. You can schedule some payment. You have to pay back. It just talks to character. You have to pay back. And at times, because they know life happens, maybe it was because you were in school or because you were new to Canada or because of whatever, they may be able to give you a break on the amount you need to pay. But it shows good character when you go back and resolve those credit, because it doesn't go away. The only time it goes away is when people do bankruptcy. But then when you do bankruptcy, no bank is going to touch you for 7 years, right? When you do proposal, you wait for 2 years. Again, I know both are not good, but the point is at least to action it. But if you're not at that level where you want to do a proposal, you want to do a bankruptcy, seriously, take a look at them, isolate the areas that you have issues, resolve them. It shows character. When you want credit, whoever your credit officer is will put a business case as to why it happened, what you have done, and the outcome. And it puts you in a better place to be able to move forward.
Absolutely. I mean, I can see that really life is all about what is the word? It's about some basic strategies and basic elements. So even if you look at it on a personal scale, if you have a friend who has wronged you, no matter how angry you are, the moment the person starts to make actions and make steps towards reconciliation, then of course, even if you don't agree, you might start to soften your claim and be more flexible with the person. So it seems to follow that same framework. So, having done that, and I'm sure that anybody who has a bad credit can now understand that you cannot run away from it. The more you run away from it, the more it keeps haunting you. So, you really have to take the step and try to fix it. Another very important thing that I want us to shed light on is that when I came here, I came with a very hungry mind. Like I I was really hungry because 1 week into Canada, I was looking for jobs, trying to get some certifications. Even when everybody says, take it easy, you just arrived here. I'm like, a day makes two, and 7 days make 1 week. If you want me to relax for 1 day, I'm taking one out of a week. So let me do the job now. Let me get stable, and I will rest when the time to rest comes. So I came in, and one thing that haunts me mostly is rent. So I see that okay, maybe I can get a job for $3,500, but in Toronto, I will pay $2,000 of this money for rent. So I'm asking myself, so actually, I'm giving somebody $2,000 monthly, which is about 60% of my income. It's me like living my life for that person basically, because after taking groceries and everything, that's all I have. So the question will be right now is, how can I buy a house? So by using myself, I'm using every other person who has been here, who is contemplating relocating here. and who just got here. You are a banker, you work in that sector, you've seen it, you've done it, and you've seen how people can manage it. How best can I own a house tomorrow? And by tomorrow, I don't mean tomorrow as a Monday, but as fast as possible. Because after the colonialism, rent is the next slavery.
I love that. First thing I'm going to say is this. When you're new to Canada, and I'm saying this with a pinch of salt, and the reason is because I've heard different people say different things. When you're new to Canada, we don't earn money in Canada the way we earn it at home. And there's no bribery in Canada. And I'm not saying it's a perfect community, by the way, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, I used to walk in the bank back home. Come December, you'll see bags of rice, gallons of oil. No, it doesn't happen like that here. It's different. If somebody gives me $20, I gotta let everybody know that I've been given $20. It's different. When you come to Canada and you want to rent, I don't subscribe to paying anything over $1,000 in rent. I don't subscribe to it. It doesn't matter how much you're coming with. The minute you start paying $1,000 and you're not employed, and that money keeps dwindling, because if you're not working and money is not coming in, the money will keep going down. I don't subscribe to renting big houses. There are apartments, there are basements, and maybe two families can even come together and rent. That way, you're sharing those overhead. It won't be overwhelming because you need money for down payment unless you're bringing money in. And I know I've seen people bring money in, they put 50% down and they get a house. For newcomers, if you're new to the country, you don't have credit, some banks will allow you to put 35% of the value of the home down and give you a mortgage. They may also ask for 1 year payment to be in your account and the closing costs. Some banks do maybe 20% of that amount. But the point is, 500,000, 20% is a lot of money, plus closing costs. But even the money that you're earning, you're already spending everything on rent anyway. So short of you selling whatever you have at home and bringing money in to be able to buy a house, it may be really, really difficult. And look at the market right now. I did a video that I posted on Instagram, and I was talking about some of the reasons why houses are becoming out of reach for a lot of people. We have investors coming in all the time, buying all the inventory. So first-time home buyers are finding it really difficult. Lumber prices is up. We're in record low interest rate. People are, bidding for homes, and they're being sold at astronomical prices. Is it going to go down? I don't have a crystal ball. But if you really, really want to buy a home, you may have to do, things that we see other communities doing. If you don't have that, money that you can bring in from Nigeria, maybe you have a property in Nigeria you want to sell, and you want to bring that money in and use it to buy a home here because now you're making this place your home. You're thinking of actually buying from the income you're earning. It may be a little difficult. So let me break it down a little bit more. If you're going to buy a property of 500,000, the government says you have to put minimum of 5% down. 5% of 500,000 is $25,000, and you have to put closing costs, maybe another 15. So we're talking 40,000. If you're buying a property of 700,000, you still have to put 5% of 500,000 and 10% of the balance on top of the 500. So let's say you're buying 700, 5% of 500,000 is 25,000.
Yeah,
10% of the additional 200 on top,
it's
you have to
20.
pay 20. So that is 45,000 plus closing costs. That's the minimum that the government is asking of you. So you can see that it's a lot of money. So what have we seen other people do? We've seen other people come join forces and buy homes together. I mean, if we can live in a condo, a one-bedroom condo, a two-bedroom condo, can we not buy maybe semi-detached, four-bedroom, and two families share two-bedroom? I'm just saying. And I'm saying it with a pinch of salt. And I'm saying it because properties have really, really gone out of hand. But what else can you do? Maybe think of moving into the future areas that are coming up. So I live in Milton, for instance. If you want to buy a town in Milton, you're talking about 750. A townhouse. If you want to buy a semi, you're talking about 960, almost $1 million. I mean, those are just ridiculous. But if you go to Barry, you go to Bradford, you go to Niagara, you may be able to see a townhouse for 400, 500, a semi for 700. So you're buying, I mean, you'll be able to stretch your dollars more. I know I've said a lot, but home ownership is so important. Yes, to your point, Femi, if you're paying two-thirds of your salary in home, there's no how you'll be able to save. 2,000 out of 3,000, you're paying it in home. And remember, even when they say they're going to pay you to 3,000, remember all the deductions that we take. You don't really get that 3,000.
Absolutely.
So you really need to plan and say what's important to me. And believe you me, it is important to own a home of your own. If you're paying 2,000, that means you can own a home. So you really, really need to sit down, step back, do your budgeting. What can I cut? Do I need to move away from a 2,000 paying home? Should I move into a 1,000 paying home? Automatically, you save 1,000 by doing that. Can I share, a townhouse or a semi with somebody? Automatically, you're reducing your overhead. I mean, we all have families we can live with. I can live with, seriously, I can live with as many people as possible. It doesn't matter to me. So long as they're not going to sleep on my bed. Because really, how many bedrooms do we really sleep in? Most of us have big houses that we're not even using to the optimal. So what's the point? You can always start small. When I came into the country, my first place was a condo. Yeah, believe you me, I bought it for 164,000 in downtown Square One, Mississauga. Yeah, it's not happening again. But that's it. It was a condo. And when I left there about 5 years later, I took about 80,000 with me. I wouldn't have that 80,000 if I was living in a rented place. Now, I know it's not easy, but it's all about goal setting. Give yourself time. Do I want to buy in 1 year? Do I want to buy in 2 years? What do I need to do? What do I need to get? What do I need to have on ground to be able to make this happen? Set your goals. Save for your goals and move on with your goals. And whatever it takes, whether it is joining forces with someone, whether it is moving outside of all the hot places, whatever you need to do, do it. If it is your passion to buy a home, the best time to buy a home is always yesterday. The next best time is today. I'll stop right here.
That's quite amazing. I mean, talking about the prices of things, it's beyond human reasoning. If you look at the prices of houses, we went on a visit to 800,000 house in Mississauga. I was asking myself, where is the space that was paid for? Because you could, I mean, it's livable, but for that amount of money, I was expecting something really big with large sitting areas and all of that. But it was just nothing in that realm at all. So that's quite informative, and I quite agree. Planning, goal setting, surely that's the only way that those things can be possible, because it's quite a lot. But now I understand that I have to think about the down payment, the closing cost, and if I don't have that money, the only way to get it is by reducing my expenses so that I can increase the savings. Let if I have an investment, that's another thing. So, having done that, there was a post on your Instagram where you were talking about, should I pay the debt? Should I invest this money? It's something that I learned from. It was really, really informative for me. And I would want us to go over that question for the purpose of the audience right now and those who will have the opportunity to watch it again. So I have a credit. Should I pay the credit or should I just take this money and invest so that I can get returns? What would be your advice?
Thank you very, very much. That was one of the questions I got. I started the year at being very, very intentional and adding value to a lot of people. I mean, people that know me know that I'm very, very ingrained in my community. Um, but I say that there's a lot of skills, experience, certificates in the graveyard. If we're not sharing the information we know or have, I mean, what's the point? And so I decided that this year, every week, I'm going to be posting videos on Instagram, just educating about investment, about finance, budgeting, whatever it is. So that's what I've been doing. And that was one of the questions. And now, just so you know, everybody, it's not as if I'm a saint when it comes to credit. I have my ups and downs. But the point is, I know how to get in and out of credit. I understand it very, very well. So, the question was, I have a lot of credit, about 40,000, and I have money about 20,000. What would you recommend? Pay down my credit or invest the money? So the point is this, and I'd like to, make analyses of things. Everybody, Femi, let me ask you one thing. One of your credit cards, what rate are they? What's the percentage of the interest?
It's 19.99, so that's 20%.
There you go. Do you know any investment that will give you 19.99?
I do, but of course, those investments comes with probability. So it's not something that you can say for sure that, okay, yes, I'm getting 20% back at this time. So they all come with probability. It might not.
There you go. That's the thing. It's probability. We know that in the investment world, the higher the risk that you take, the higher the potential gain or loss. It's not as if there are no investment that will give you 20%, but we're not sure. But we're very sure of what the credit is charging you. It is 20%, period. Right? We're sure of that, but we're not sure of investment that will give you 20%. Now, there are investment that may give you 20%, but you also need to leave them for a long time. That's the point. So you're leaving what you're sure of to invest in what you're not sure of. So if you have a 40,000 debt, number one, I don't know, maybe you're maxed all your credits. So it is actually pushing your credit score down. Because let's say you have 4 credit cards, because this person had about 3 credit cards and 1 credit line, and they were maxed out. So number one, that credit is being bastardized. You're messing it up already just by maxing it up. The expectation when you have a credit card or credit line is to leave it at between 55% and 65%. Yeah, it will surprise you, right? They're giving you money to use and they're saying don't use it. But that's the point. When they give you money to use, you're supposed to use it if you have money to pay back. So at the end of the day, it's, I don't know. You got to be able to manage it. That's basically it. Don't spend credit unless you have it to pay back. Now, when you spend it and you don't pay it back, the bank now knows that this person is becoming risky. Now you max it out and you have a little money on the side. You're paying an average of, so this person was actually paying an average of 17 point something. But the investment is not going to give you 17 point something unless you lock it away in something, maybe mutual fund or stocks, and you have to wait at least 3 to 5 years just because of the uppity top of the market. Nothing in life is straight. The market goes up and down depending on whatever is informing it. Is it oil? Is it coronavirus? Is it Black Lives Matter? What is it that is making the market go up and down? It's just like our lives. We want our life to go on a straight line. Nothing is linear in our lives. And the same thing with earnings of investment. But credit is for sure. So if you know that you're not going to earn 17% and more, because you earning the same thing as what you're going to pay on the credit, is not enough. You have to earn more to be able to say, oh, I have gained, because that's why you want to invest. And so because this money is not going to earn that, it is better for you to pay the debt. When you pay down the debt, guess what? Your credit will go up. Guess what? If you need money to buy something bigger, like a house, a car, you will get a better interest rate. But if you keep to 20,000, earning like 1%, like 0.5% in GIC, or you leave it in savings account, checking account, and you're paying 17%, you're wasting your money. That's number one. Number two, your credit is going down. Number three, inflation is even eroding the investment that you think you have. Go to the market. I go to the market all the time. They'll say that everything is on sale, and I tend to spend more when things are on sale. I don't get it. When things are on sale, shouldn't I be spending less? I don't know. But we spend more, So inflation is taking what your money can buy today is not what you can buy tomorrow because of inflation. So you're losing money. Your purchasing power is reducing. Your credit is, you're messing it up. And you're even putting yourself in a bad spot where if you need credit, they won't give it to you because you've already maxed your credit out. So if you have debt and you have money to invest, pay off your debt first. It will give you peace of mind. You'll be improving your credit, and you'll be in a better place overall.
Awesome. I mean, if we look at it just by comparing the two, it's like I owe Mr. A 50,000 and I have the 50,000 to actually pay Mr. A. But I'm thinking, okay, why not buy some clothes, sell it again, and see if I will make the money? And with the uncertainty and the time frame needed for me to get back that money, Mr. A is going to put another interest of 10,000. So it surely means that by the time I'm back from my investment and I'm bringing back 52,000, and I decide to give Mr. A 52,000, I've already acquired more debt in that time frame. So it's actually not logical. It's best to pay off the debt and then work a little and channel other money into the investment. As you've explained. So that it's really something that when I watched the Instagram video, I was like, okay, because people just think that since the bank is not disturbing you, you are paying the minimum payment, so why stress yourself? Why just pay the minimum and keep using your money to do other things? But in the right frame, you're doing those other things to keep paying the bank the money. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the statement will tell you actually, and I really want people to start looking at the statement properly. Don't just look at the minimum that you're supposed to pay and the date you're supposed to pay it. There's a line there that would tell you if you keep paying the minimum, how many years it would take you to actually finish that payment. You will be shocked. And the interest you will actually pay, you will be shocked. It's good to have good credit as opposed to bad credit. Good credit is mortgage. It's good to have good credit. Good credit is mortgage. If you're paying interest on your mortgage, that's great. At times you pay a lot of interest on mortgage, but remember, it's your house, it's appreciating. But if it is only credit card that you used to buy food, you used to buy clothes, you used to look beautiful, you just look to, that you can't really say, this is what I bought from it. Everything you buy, seriously, clothes are going to go out of fashion. Food, we're going to eat it and we're going to go to the bathroom and that's it. And we're going to eat again. And I'm not saying don't eat. I'm just saying if you don't have that money, don't spend that credit.
absolutely.
Don't spend that credit. Borrow money for good things like houses. Don't borrow money and accumulate debt for frivolities of life.
That's great. I'm actually a person who likes to listen, to watch, and to educate myself. And there's this guy from the state, Grant Candon. He's a real estate guy, and he was on this live video with a rap star, and he asked him that how much was his last car, and he said it was $85,000. And he said how much was the tax on it? I think that was around maybe 10, 15,000 on tax. And he told him that in another 5 years, what will be the value of that car that you bought? And he said he doesn't know, but he doesn't think it will be anything substantial. And he told him that if that same amount was a profit he made on a real estate investment, it will actually come tax free. So it just kind of changed my orientation. And he said in this live video that when we try to look at our finances, we should only spend from our what's the name of this income? The income that you don't actually have to stay there and work for. What is the name?
Residual?
Yeah, residual income. So you could take your rent if you're still renting from your salary, but for clothes, for vacations, and something fun, it should never come from your salary. After taking all avoidable expenses from your salary, the rest should be savings. So if you don't make any money on the side, you are not supposed to spend any money on the side. And I think it might look tough to a person, but it's really, really important. So if you don't make any money on the side, you are not supposed to spend any money on the side. That already even drives you towards productivity, because then you start to look at things that you can do to earn money on the side, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So if I'm a YouTuber and I'm getting some $2,000, so it means that I only have to make videos of me with my family or me doing something, and I get that money. So I could go buy a nice shoe, buy a Louis Vuitton shirt if I want, but I'm not taking my Louis Vuitton shirt money from my credit card or from my salary, which I really, really, it's really blessed me, and I'm happy that I watch that section. So thank you very much, my really glad to hear that. So without taking so much of your time today, overall now, from Nigeria, from Europe, people see Canada as the land of opportunity, the land where everything happens. But right now, I would say yes, and I would say no. Yes, for those who has invested in information, who has invested in their self and personal development. I know for a lot of people, I'm not looking down on any job, but there are people here for years who still do jobs that a new person would probably think twice before accepting them. So even you might not agree, I would say that you're a really successful person here in Canada, not just because of your position in RBC, but overall in level of impact, assets that you maybe you don't know that I know, you are a really successful person in Canada. So I want you to bless us by giving us those attributes, those ideologies, those things that drove you to this point, from the person who went to Canada with almost nothing, I would say, even if you came with money, but being in a new country is coming with nothing, because then if you don't do it wisely, you might spend all your hundreds of thousands of dollars away. So what was the driving ideologies and attributes and things that brought you from that point to where we are today? Because if I know that, I will spend less time to get to your point in by the time I'm looking at the years, because then I understand what to do and I won't make the same mistakes that you probably did or people are doing on a daily basis now. So what would be your advice?
Thank you very much. Again, all your questions are super loaded. um, when I came to Canada 16 years ago, a little over 16 years ago now, I was told there's no job. I was told um, I'll have to go on welfare. I was told if I want to do anything, it has to be personal support worker. And I wasn't happy with what I heard. And I was also told by some of my friends that I'm in a rush. I'm too much in a hurry because I was looking for a work, for a job. I've always worked all my life. I started working since I finished high school at age 16. And so coming to Canada, a place where they say it's developed world, and people telling me there's no job was just, it just didn't sound right. Anyway, eventually, I started volunteering with Brampton Multicultural Place. I was teaching English as a second language. And then I went to open my account and I met this man. He's from Guyana. God bless him. He asked me, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm volunteering." He said, "What did you do back home?" I told him. He said, "Why are you not working in the bank?" I said, "Because nobody will hire me." And he said, "Do I mind? He can introduce me to someone that just got hired. Maybe that person can give me some tips." I said, "Absolutely." And I was introduced to someone. And lo and behold, that person happens to be from Nigeria and a Yoruba lady. Her name is Modupe. I will never forget Modupe. She told me what she did. She went to an adult learning center. It was a 6 month program, 3 months in and 3 months co-op. I did the same thing. They said the thunder doesn't strike twice in the same place. It did for me this time. I did 3 months in and 3 months co-op, and since then I've been with RBC. So what am I trying to say? If we come in and we are privy to having someone guide us, he helps us. I'm happy that, after a year, it was just a year for me. And I was focused. I knew I wasn't going to do what I don't want to do. I knew I wasn't going to be on welfare. That's not who I am. I'm the type of person that gives. And I can't come to a country like this and just sit on that. It is meant for people that cannot work. It's not for people that will come in and pretend that they can't. It's meant for people that cannot work. And I'm not that type of person that cannot work. I already had 15 years of banking experience with my bachelor's degree. I mean, it takes a lot. Going to school is a project. You go to school for 4 years. A lot of people drop off, but you finished. It counts for something. We get matured. Our way of thinking is different. You can get into somewhere and show value. And that's who we are. That's who Nigerians are. We're highly skilled, highly experienced, highly educated people. So why would we come here and just because it's a new country, discount our experiences? We shouldn't. So what would I tell everybody listening to me today? Number one, don't discount your experience because it makes you. You have various types of skills, your art skills. You've gone to school. That was a project in its own, like I said. Your art skills fuels your soft skills. Because if you didn't go to school, if you don't have that open mindset, you won't be able to learn when you work. You have experience at work. You have soft skills. You have transferable skills. When you get to Canada, what I would say is, one, get information. When you get to Rome, be as the Romans do. Get information. We have so many organizations doing wonderful things right now in Canada. I support Council of Nigerian Professionals. There's NIPCA, there's NNC, there's Immigrants Life. There's a lot going on. Look them up. Learn from people that have been there, done that. Don't rely on your experiences alone. Your experience in Nigeria is different from the experience we have in Canada. Get a mentor. Get someone to support you, to guide you, to hold your hand, to show you the way. There are a lot of people that want to do it. A lot of people may not want to do it, but there's a lot of people that want to do it. Get information. Don't go it alone. It could be very lonely here. Remember, you left your brothers and sisters, friends back home. It's not everybody that has families here. So get a mentor. Get involved in any of the organization, even if it's just for information purposes. Try and volunteer. When you volunteer, what you're telling the country is that you're not just here for yourself. You also want to learn what they're doing here. Listen
Absolutely.
to podcasts like this, Reach out to people in your community, however you can. When you have the right information, I always say that information helps you to make informed decision. We've heard people do a lot of certification that they would never use in Canada. Why are you wasting money? I tell people that, when you're new to Canada, that's your vacation time because the minute you get into the system, it's go, go, go. So try and get to understand what's happening in Canada. And try and make sure that you try to get organizations, like I said, learn from other people. Learn from other people. We're here to support each other. Iron sharpeneth iron.
That's fantastic. I mean, with my little experience living in the Middle East, in Europe, I cannot underestimate the value of networking, who you know, those people around you. And it's something that maybe as Nigerians we quite neglect that part of life. I don't want to tell this person this thing, I don't want to go to this person. But over time, it's like a lot of success stories have actually been attributed to mentors, to friends, colleagues, and so I really, really buttress the point that it is very important to increase your networking because, anyways, opportunities they are going to come from a channel which usually they might not be channels on your social media. It will be somebody who is in a place who can tell you what to do, and how to get there faster. So I really, really resonate with that idea. And I'm sure that the people who are watching and who will still watch would understand that the only way to be successful in Canada is to leave the box, open the box, get out there, and surely you will see things that will fascinate you. And then you can build on such ideas and information gathered in that time. So, like I said, I really don't want to pin you down here for a very long time. I do understand that you have a lot going on. You're a mother, you're a wife, and there's a whole lot to do. It's Easter Sunday. The family should be eating the chickens if you do, and having a nice time on the table. So, I'm sure that we'll have more of this section on different parts of life because we have a lot to learn from you. You've been in your marriage for lengthy years. I want to learn someday. How did you do that? So I'm saying today that many times I will still call on you to teach us how you got to this point in different aspects. So today is for finance, next might be relationship. The next one might be how did you move to Canada? What informed the decision? Or why did you decide to stay in Milton where you are? So be sure that I'm still going to come back calling. This will not be the last time. But on behalf of Gist Arena TV and the Experience YouTube channel, I want to appreciate you today for this awesome eye opener that you've given to us today. We appreciate you and we really, really cherish the time that you've given to us. And for our audience, I'm sure through they've learned one thing or two. And those people that would also watch this after would surely learn a lot from it. In the description of this video, I will be dropping your Instagram because I'm not the only one who needs to be blessed. A lot of people needs to be on your network to learn from you weekly so that they can be blessed as well. So thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate you. We cannot even quantify that time. It's worth millions of dollars, I'm sure. So thank you so much, Ma, and we look forward to having you on this channel sometime soon again.
Thank you so much, Femi. This was really, really a great time for me. Like I said, I love to provide information, but I have a lot to learn from you youths of today. I'm going to touch base with you also to come and educate us on technologies on how to make residual income with YouTube and all the like. So I'm going to be knocking your door too. But one final thing I just want to quickly touch on around finance. Like I said, finance is all encompassing. Something that we don't do in our community is insurance, especially our men. Please consider it. Please consider it. Another thing I would say in Canada is estate planning. Please consider it. It's not about killing somebody. It's about telling your family that they're important to you, you care about them, and you're putting plans in place should the unexpected happen. I am a Christian. I believe what the word of God tells me, that I will not die but live to declare the works of God in the land of the living. I believe that. But we still need to plan. especially for your family. In Canada, if anybody should pass interstate means you don't have a will. Your family will not be able to touch anything you have. It shows to the government that you don't care about them. So please look into it. Put something in place. Show your families that you love them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma. I'm sure we will go on and on if I want to look it because for that I do have questions. But for sure, like I said, we will have more sections on this issue and even broader issues in family and finances in the future. So thank you once again, ma, and we appreciate you and we look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Thank you very much, ma. That will be all from us today, and we want to wish you and your entire family happy Easter. Enjoy the moment, and may this season bring forth blessings upon your household.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Right. Bye bye.